So, mach mal.
Just mach mal. Out that the setup feels quite epic for this really important match. The biggest rivalry in League of Legends, GENG against T1 here in round 3.
And here we are into Champion Select for game number 1. GENG will be on the blue side, T1 with first pick. And we'll see what they're going to be snagging for themselves. These bans going to be pretty important though. The Vi, the Poppy, the Lock, the Orianna have been basically permabanned. We did see the Orianna get through. That's a large reason why HLE lost to D+. So we'll see whether that is going to continue. The Bard going to be taken away from Carrier. I believe that will not be changing either. And there is the Camille taken off the board.
So, ist Orianna hier der First Pick? Anscheinend
right
ist es immer noch super high Prio in LCK.
Check ich aber persönlich nicht. Faker play it yet, but
the Poppy as well has been very, very strong. So is the power of destroying the draft, which I believe what just happened.
A lot of draft resets as of late. I don't know what's going on with
Gut geschlafen.
We had a few issues in the Kesper. A lot of
ich schaue nach.
Where a lot of people were just,
ich glaube nicht allzu lange. Mein Wecker um 6:15 Uhr oder 6:30 Uhr, glaube ich, mein Wecker. Ich habe geschlafen 6 Stunden.
I want to say it was like a fizz or something. It
6 Stunden habe ich
it was
geschlafen.
something like that though. That was like on the
eingeschlafen nach 9 Minuten, also ist okay.
Necessarily meta.
Um 11:30.
I cannot remember off the top of my head. Maybe someone will let us know. It was there like us, but has a better memory.
Ja Kali gar nicht gestern schlafen so funny.
Recently. We try not to remember the pauses as much as the real things. At the end of the day, though, luckily this happened before we got into anything too serious here. We're still in the
Kannst du bei mir lauter nein, weil ich diese scheiß Noise Suppression, ne? Weil ich meinen OBS neu gemacht habe, habe ich die Noise Suppression nicht mehr drin, ich Idiot. Brixum, grüß dich, danke für die 30er-Stück.
Yep. Lock ban or a Poppy ban. I mean,
halb 12 im Bett, 6 Stunden, halb 12 im Bett, ja, ich war noch eine Stunde wach im Bett.
So far. So. Yeah, we'll just be hopping back into draft as soon as we possibly can.
7 Stunden im Bett, 6 Stunden geschlafen.
Hole 5. Is that one of the ones that
läuft ja, hallo
for a final four? I'm trying to remember.
It may
36 aufgestanden, 36 ist Wecker, ja. Ich war im Sport.
Finals, if I'm not remembering wrong.
Ich war beim Sport.
D+ Kia and T1.
Es war
no audience, but we still had the finals in an offline venue and had a really cool
Pancake, Gummo, gute Nacht. Wie war One Piece?
That could have been it.
Bei mir hat es 33 Grad, das war toll. Ich habe die ganze Zeit mit Ventilator ohne Decke geschlafen. War super. Also war wirklich noch sehr angenehm, Hanamagas. Also Frage, es wird Orianna First Pick hier. Oder wie machen wir es?
Okay, let's see what that ban was supposed to be here for GENG. As Poppy, definitely one of the considerations you mentioned.
Often it is a second pick team ban. But Jace is going to be taken away
first.
That
makes sense because of Doran's recent proficiency, but also just how much Jace has been able to control the jungle.
Vielleicht heute das Danish-Interview, außerdem macht er weiter die Series.
The top lane that junglers get pulled away from bottom lane, so opens up your bottom lane quite a bit. As the lockban will actually be done.
Auf jeden Fall ganz mit Kuscheldecke. Du musst jetzt sofort subscriben. Ist mir egal, ob du in der Schweiz lebst oder nicht.
But not unprecedented by any means. Starts to feel like maybe they're
Wenn du mehr zahlst, geht's mir auch gut.
A first pick Lee Sin or Cassiopeia in this draft. We'll see if GENG decide to let Owner play Lee Sin. If they don't ban it and it's not picked, then Canyon gets his opportunity. So they'll ban the Nocturne.
Es ist Orianna offen.
If they go Cassiopeia, you get a strong Lee Sin synergy set up here for GENG.
Ja, und die sind First Pick. Ja, sie gehen Orianna.
God, yeah.
Ich check das nicht. Ich bin. Die können jetzt halt theoretisch können sie jetzt Lee Sin gehen und Syndra. Oder sie gehen Syndra plus Cassio. Also ich verstehe diese Orianna First Pick Prio noch nicht so sehr.
Und
sehen wir jetzt bei 10
even though Orianna is considered to be this S-tier pick that almost never makes it through draft. It's made it through enough times and its win rate is not as high as you would expect. So
ich mag Galio sehr mit ein bisschen Mask Mandate Bild. Jetzt ist die Frage, spielen die Poppy Jungle oder spielen sie Nafiri?
There's that Lee Sin I was talking about to come through here with the Galio.
That's
weird. Mach gerade Zimtschnecken, lecker. Und ja, eigentlich muss man da echt ein Bild machen, ne?
It might be an Owner Lock-in right here. Maybe he was expecting that.
Also Nafiri oder Poppy sehe ich so. Ich glaube nicht, dass du Jarvan hier picken willst.
Ja. That is what they are going to do.
Yeah, Carrier is a fantastic Poppy player.
Or
really good
Lucian Milio. Und das ist ein Problem, weil du kannst jetzt nur Caitlyn auf 3 picken, ne? Theoretisch.
You've got to go Milio here if you are going to play this. So No Poppy. It's going to get banned by GENG now, so they won't have that response. This Lee Sin just got a lot more agency. Now the question becomes, do you want to have half of a bottom lane or a blind pick for Keen that you protect in the second phase? I mean, there's a lot of great picks.
Also ich sage, Caitlyn auf 3 wäre so die obvious choice.
Depending on what they want to play in the bottom lane.
Problem ist, die können dann halt auf 4, 5 können die Lux bannen und noch irgendwas.
The Ambessa looks to be the more likely option,
okay.
And Keen is going to go for it here.
Das heißt, die bannen Poppy auf jeden Fall.
Their bottom duo, they can get it together, but
und
they're not really counterpicking for anything because
Vayne, Renekton,
Lucian and the Milio are already shown. But if you only pick one side of it, then T1 banned the synergistic picks with it, so they're kind of trapped into picking this Ambessa here.
So Renekton going to be taken away. The Poppy going to be taken away is probably what we're looking at on GENG's side.
Haben wir ganz Croissant rein.
And then just get rid of some
mit selbstgemachter Marmelade, Arschloch 2.
Caitlyn probably the first cab off the rank.
Would you rather play against a Renekton in this draft, or would you rather play against a Vayne?
Ja, Renekton, genau, gesagt, ne? Renekton, Vayne, ich würde Vayne bannen.
It's a real question because, like, it's a low-range comp here for GENG. If Doran gets Vayne,
ich glaube, ich würde Vayne bannen.
Be able to get a lot done just outside of the lane.
Die bannen Lulu und die werden noch Caitlyn bannen. Sie sollten Caitlyn bannen.
T1 so far. I guess you can just grab yourself a Jarvan or something like that, but if it is going to be
Sein für T1, ja, ich würde Renekton, Vayne und dann kannst du Richtung Sein gehen.
Need that Renekton in order to get a ball into the right spot.
Jarvan also feels like a really safe ban here, but it gives Doran whatever he wants in the top lane. They will ban the Renekton ultimately here.
It was the first
it's been, I mean, no one gets to play Renekton in this meta. They just don't let it happen. Ambessa's always protected from that one, so you were on the money with it. Lulu banned away for the laning phase, and we'll see if they want to ban anything else. I mean, for the bottom 2v2, Caitlyn, not really, I think, without the Bard here, something you were necessarily planning on playing into Lucian Milio.
And does Ruler want to play something weird, right? Ezreal is going to be taken away.
Caitlyn ist offen.
Theoretically, Ziggs.
Caitlyn.
You could throw something like that out there if you'd like to. Things are kind of open-ended right now. They will be able to react
also Caitlyn Lux
to whatever is picked up here.
Oh, die Headsets sind cool.
As to what's going to be paired with it.
Could try to play like Misfortune Rel. I mean, you've got a decent amount of setup here in this draft.
Warum nicht Caitlyn Lux?
Slam Lucian or some sort of support with Engage. Okay. The Rakan going to be another option there. Now, I mean, the Doran Rumble plus Jarvan angle sounds pretty devastating.
Yeah, I think Jarvan is going to be the jungle pick 1000% here.
Jarvan mag ich auch. Ich mag Nafiri viel mehr.
If they did this draft 10 more times with remakes, he would do it every single time.
Wow. I've only ever really been 100% of anything.
Wow, the Gnar is a volatile matchup, right? We used to say this is the counter pick, but with Electrocute Ambessa and how much proficiency everyone has on the pick, a player like Keen can win this matchup is a pretty even matchup now in our minds, I think, across top laners here at the LCK. You know, if you're on Rise group,
Jax matchup, it's the same sort of vibe, right? Yeah. Where if you feel like you're good enough, or if you
gar nicht gut.
You can definitely play out that matchup and make it look very, very good. And I imagine Keen is pretty comfortable.
I don't know. Ich mag den T1 Draft nicht, oder?
That you were 1000% positive about. So
they went through 10 iterations of considering it, and in all 10 they.
So in like 10 different dimensions, he still picks Jarvan here. That makes some sense.
Zaya Pick finde ich so lala. Zaya Rakan into Lucian Milo bin ich kein großer Freund.
I don't like it. I think you just kind of get slapped around.
Yeah.
But we have seen players really enjoy the Zaya into the
Zaya Rakan into Lucian Milo finde ich nicht supi.
Topside
Topside für GENG finde ich halt geil. Also ich finde die Topside für GENG geiler, Botside für T1 geiler. Und wir beten einfach mal darauf, dass GENG besser ist.
The Lucian Milio is so strong.
The top side of the map here for T1 has a big responsibility, especially the Jarvan Orianna part of this. For T1, they really need to make sure that Faker and Owner can control these early objectives. And if they lose control over the map, the composition of GENG is bulky and can just eventually close the gap on you. It's not high range, but got the Ambessa set up. I like classically T1's composition more. I think it has more power and I think it has more potential, but it's all about that synergy between Faker and Owner, which has been great overall But we've had a few games.
Ich finde, Genji darf einfach, ja, mal schauen. Also wie gesagt, mal sehen. Topside gefällt mir deutlich mehr für Genji.
Like in League of Legends, if there's something you could trust, maybe you put Faker on a Zir one tier higher.
Yep.
But I think you could pretty much bet that he's.
Max Zaira kann einfach nicht. Finde ich nicht gut.
For our first game of Fearless in this best of 3.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this one is going to go. GENG with Canyon on Lee Sin as well. We haven't even really mentioned it. Very, very fun champion to watch Canyon play. A little bit of a shame that we don't get to see both junglers playing the Lee Sin in this matchup, as Owner has skin for the champ and is incredibly good. But man, I'm looking forward to seeing how these drafts are going to be able to play out. I'm a little worried for GENG though.
Pentakill very easy.
He spelt pays with that.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because he does get pentakills more easily than any other player ever in competitive League of Legends history. How far ahead of the second person is he on pentakills? Is it like 5 or 6?
It might be higher.
It's kind of absurd.
He might get one in this game.
And it's so funny, because he has by far the most, but Ruler by far the most. More than any other player that has ever played the game.
Gets upset.
He does. And in fact, like if he gets a quadra kill and someone denies him the penta in game number 1, that will very really damage their chances in the rest of the series, whether they win or lose. Yeah. So we'll just have to hold our breath to see whether he gets like a feather recall that just kills 4 people instantly, and then Keen accidentally just right-clicks someone.
I think it damages the chances of whoever stole
Genji Roadshow, yes sir. Die spielen gegen T1 und dann am
being on the team for the next game. Like,
Sonntag oder morgen oder Sonntag gegen DK.
These days, okay? You know, you put one foot wrong. And you
sorry, Duro.
Morgen, danke.
Waking up on KRX.
Well, welcome to Genji Namkoon.
This is more of a reference to our series that is going to be coming up after this one. But we will focus a little bit more on Genji versus T1. But it is just very funny that even at the very beginning of the season, the drama has already begun to unfold. But it wouldn't be the LCK without a little bit of added spice, a little bit added drama. And man, look at this. It is well and truly full up. Reminds me actually very much of the setup in Daejeon as well for MSI. Kind of similar exhibition hall.
Yeah, even like the way that the LEDs in the back are set up, like graphically feels like an MSI stage, right? It's obviously taken big inspiration, I'd say, from MSI. Man, even the T1 players have to wear House of Genji. They're really in Genji's house right now.
Oh, yeah.
The House of Legends. You remember that? That was one of our taglines from...
Oh, yeah. There weren't enough houses in the opening.
No.
I didn't think. I thought they
put a war museum in there for some reason.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It was Genji's house, though.
That was pretty cool, though, when Home Life Esports were, like, outside and there were, like, tanks and it was, like, Peanut looking real cool. I remember that. That was a very, very cool intro. I take it back. There didn't need to be more houses. I liked the museum vibe. I've been to that museum relatively recently as well. It is still a whole lot of fun.
I have heard so many good things, and I drive past it all the time. But
you haven't actually been?
I've never been inside.
Wow, that is so weird.
I know, it's also so
in Korea.
It sounds so unlike me to have not gone to that museum, but
you're saving it for when Claire is a little bit older and you get to be the amazed dad alongside.
Yeah, we get to experience
Start
it
jetzt.
together.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I just went to the zoo, a small zoo, to be fair, with Claire for the first time. It was very fun.
Was it like a petting zoo? Did you, like, touch a goat?
I tried to get a toucan to land on my arm. I tried to get her to interact with a toucan. Instead, the closest we got was birds landed on my head, like 3 small birds landed on my head, and it scared my daughter to death, and we left the exhibit immediately.
And then we went home, and actually, don't go to the zoo. Sounds like a terrible experience. We're going to go to the War Museum tomorrow.
She really wanted to pet the capybaras, but that was against the zoo policy.
Oh, that's
But she got to see them really close.
Capybaras are like the most petable-looking animals on the
So, startet sofort das Spiel.
And it does make sense that you're not allowed to. Quokka is a very similar situation. You know, you're not supposed to be petting those either. As we are going to be making our way onto the Rift for game number 1 as soon as we possibly can, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, we had to delay to talk about museums and scaring little girls with birds.
It was unintentional by the birds. You know, they just really wanted to be friendly.
Yep.
And land on my head, which is very... At that time, with how my hair looked that day, it looked very Nest-like, to be fair. So I think...
So it was your fault. The hairstyle was your fault.
Yeah, it was my responsibility.
Oh, we do have a little bit of time, and I forgot to tell you this beforehand, but Chester really
Okay,
liked your,
also ich muss Werbung laufen lassen,
toy
weil sonst kommt
card
Werbung im Game.
for him.
Nee.
Awesome.
We really appreciate it.
In
I'll
game?
show you the photos later.
Warte.
But now I can hear the music.
We went all the way. The draft music looped. That's a long track. It's a longer track than I expected.
I got really interested and excited because we were like,
Wenn wir gestern mal
music
Peak.
changed. I'm like,
Meine Liga.
this means we're going into game. But actually, it just means that we're going into draft. But the draft is already concluded. So we're going to be going into
Sorry, guys.
game.
I have a small update.
Sure.
T1 won the game in 32 seconds. We're going into game 2 right now.
Oh, right.
It's actually the fastest game of League of Legends of all time.
But because it's a homestand, GENG starts with a game advantage. And the cool thing about homestands is that you get, the GENG homestand is that you get to play a best of 5. So T1 were awarded the game, but GENG already had a game.
So now
we're just playing a best of 3 from here.
Okay.
That's how it goes. I'm glad that you brought that up because otherwise we haven't actually announced that. You know, no one said anything about how that worked.
Yeah.
Format change.
Frage an von 16.
But yeah, that's
Hallo?
official, from me.
Geht's mal los?
And I've said it now, and therefore it's real.
What do you think it means in that GENG backdrop shot where there's a star next to Duro and an arrow pointing next to Keen? Are they going to be the key players in this draft with the Rakan and Bessa setup? Is there some foreshadowing back there?
I don't know. Were the arrows intentional, or do you think they looked sporadically placed?
Honestly, see that? Well, there's a little squiggle over there as well that kind of loops, but I think the one that's pointing towards Keen is a little bit, it's not straight, it's a little bit curved, but maybe it implies that he was going to pick a Bessa all along. You know, it's kind of like his ultimate that Keen's going to be employing. So maybe that's it. It's his birthday, and he wants a victory for his birthday present. We'll see if Chovy will be so kind.
I think, you know, GENG and himself are aligned. I don't think T1 are aligned for his birthday here today, but we'll see. Okay, Chovy is settling in. Hopefully this means that we're getting...
He was talking, and that's generally a good sign. All right.
Hey!
Okay.
These are the drafts. I'd kind of forgotten. Very cool thing is that Ruler and Duro are actually using the Samsung Galaxy skins, which sometimes doesn't happen when Ruler decides to load up into a game on Xayah. So I'm glad that that does actually happen here. As let's get onto the Rift. Game number 1.
Let's go.
I think they already did the fan chants. So never mind.
Keine Level 1 Action.
There we go.
We couldn't hear the fan chant leader. They didn't have microphones. So that's what confused me. I apologize. For game 2, I'll be better.
This is the cool part about being the color.
Da wurde aber geplaced. Kein Sweeper. Bottom-Matchup mag ich gar nicht für Xayah Rakan. Mag ich ganz und gar nicht.
Otherwise, we could just be silent commentators. That trend never really picked up.
Yeah. It's, you know, I feel like you wouldn't have much of a gig for very long, you know, when they realize that you're not actually useful at all.
Well, there are some people who are better silent than others, so it's actually a skill set. Like, for example, I think it's actually not one of your strong points. You talk a lot.
Yeah.
You might actually not be good at it because you'd occasionally continue to talk.
My wife says that a lot. She's like, just shut up, man. All right.
Barrier.
Sie wollen, wenn das Game 30 Minuten geht, für wen? Für GENG oder für T1? Ich glaube, diese Fights später werden sehr execution-based sein. Ich glaube nicht, dass es so eindeutig ist.
Early barrier at level 1.
And Paze does have cleanse, so Ruler can actually do this, as Duro actually a bit of an aggressive move there. Throws out the Grand Entrance just to save Ruler some health bar. Does have to sacrifice a lot of his own.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice position there from
Space, Standard.
The pursuit there from Paze and get the punish, but like you said, we'll lose some of his health, but he'll be able to heal it back up. And this matchup is going to continue to be relatively even here. When it hits level 3 for Keria and Paze, they can try to push the advantage a little bit further, but great job by Ruler and Duro so far.
Yep, I feel like this one can be difficult for the Rakan if the Melio is very, very good. The fire kick can be very frustrating if you are trying to W forward. But GENG right now, I mean, dealing with Paze, especially once he hits level 3, I feel like that's when you get extraordinarily dangerous on the Lucian, once you've got all of your buttons locked in.
Exactly. That's the next moment for potential pressure.
And you get double the value because of the passive.
Yeah. Doran does not... Oh, sorry, rather Keen.
Xayah schwert das Leck einfach durch. Ich glaube nicht, dass es so leicht ist.
Was able to. That
Du musst...
to be more aggressive as Chovy
Du musst im Hinterkopf behalten, dass Orianna plus Lucian beide die Xayah outrangen. Also es ist nicht dieses straightforward, okay, die Xayah hat die ganze Zeit uptimen, kann die ganze Zeit out-attacken und das ganze Team durchfisten. So leicht ist es nicht. Sehr viel Execution einfach.
It is a pretty big lead though. There are 6 minions here left for Ruler to pick up. He will be able to get all of them, but that will put him a wave behind. Does make some sense though. I mean, the Xayah Rakan was never going to be in a great position in the lane.
At least they can both recall pretty quick together. Yep, get out of there fast and come back. So it's only really a wave.
Ich glaube, Serpentfang wäre natürlich sehr geil für T1, aber ich weiß nicht, wer es kaufen soll.
And it's Ruler's taking Conqueror as well. That's the first time I've seen that.
Also ehrlich, Xayah Maloche verlieren wir einfach. Ich glaube, das wird eine ehrliche Topside Maloche. Topside plus Xayah Rakan und dann die Xayah wird carryen können, wenn T1 hintet, glaube ich.
Yeah,
a little bit more
Schauen wir
of
mal.
a battle Xayah.
Yeah.
Which is just a different take. Lethal tempo is just so very good, and most people just do head towards it as Ruler.
Oh, ruined it. The Xayah Rakan recall there, trying to get the back and then just zoom out of there.
Yep.
Kann ja alles auf Prime League Niveau sein.
Very silly signature, which I like.
Gestern war schlimm wieder. Gestern war wieder wirklich schlimm.
You think it's silly?
I mean, it's just all a bit different sizes and strange.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's that was what I was sort of.
There are only 2 types of pro gamer signatures. There's the one that's trying to look like a professional athlete.
Wesen für den Longside extra.
They're pro gamers to be athletes, but you know what I mean. Sports, traditional sports signature.
Zero, danke für den vierten. Aha.
Some form of squigglies or smiley face or making a picture or you know. There's only 2 types. There is no like 3rd type.
I mean, I think you've covered all the ones that you really need, though.
I guess you could. There's a bit of a branching path for bad handwriting signature, which is vague. Is it trying to be professional athlete, or is it trying to be silly? We don't know.
I think bad handwriting is just I haven't done the emoji, but I want to. You know?
Yeah.
That's all right. Ruler underneath this turret is now 11 CS behind. FaZe is really rocketing forward.
Ja, Matchup Botline ist einfach scheiße. So, ich weiß nicht, warum sie es gepickt haben. Ehrlicherweise. Vor allem, da war ja, also Caitlyn war ja offen. Ich verstehe es nicht.
Canyon finishing off
Was dagegen gesprochen hat, Caitlyn zu picken.
As we haven't really seen too much of these junglers so far. He's trying to get towards that level 6 as soon as he can. Owner has also been a little bit quiet, but both of them find themselves at exactly the same spot on the rift.
Otto 5:30, ja.
His Gromp before he heads over to try and contest for this scuttle that has just spawned on Owner's side of the map. So I don't think the
ist natürlich besser für Owner jetzt, aber es ist eigentlich scheißegal, weil Raptor spawnen. Das heißt, er wird auch Level 6 hitten. Weiter nicht. Kate gegen Narja, wann ist es nicht FF15? Ich meine, ich finde, also ist Xayah so viel besser gegen Lucian, Milio, Orianna? Weiß ich nicht.
It's no early errors, no big mistakes, no like flashes gained because somebody made a whoopsie. It's just classic, clean.
So, Ezreal ist gebannt und ist der Beste dagegen, aber danach, oh wow, er hittet nicht Level 6 actually. Oh mein Gott, das ist ziemlich horrible.
Might go over here for a little bit of a pass on a potential steal. Doesn't have level 6.
Yeah, that is not going to be the steal from Canyon. He's going to have to safeguard its way out. Does do so.
But that's the kind
macht keinen Unterschied, right? Ja, macht jetzt keinen Unterschied für ihn. Also er ist sowieso auf Botzeit. Bekommen ist Bonus.
You ward hop your way out. Totally fine. That's right on theme with this game here from Canyon.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, T1 going to be able to grab the first Cloud Drake. Next one up is going to be the Ocean. Does mean that we've got access to some pretty good souls so far this game.
Chovy with a small CS lead.
Which is kind of crazy as a Galio.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, Chovy just has a CS lead randomly in a melee versus range matchup. In this matchup, tough to generate that.
Wo spielen die da? GENG Homeground ist eine Roadshow.
Missed that punch earlier.
Yep. And Chovy has always been very good at farming on the Galio. And having a look at this composition, it's not one of the greatest. Like, yes, Imperial Mandate will still be very good. The vulnerability applies to everything. But, you know, the Abyssal Mask that you would like to pick up doesn't have quite as much value because
kein Swap, by the way.
Damage on the team.
Beide Supports aber öffnen. Oh, wait, no, wait. Wir haben 5 Mann Topside. 5 gegen 5 Topside? Nee. Okay, anscheinend nicht dagegen. Und sie schicken Faker Botlane. Schicken sie Chovy Botlane mit TP ab? Ja.
comps.
Der Electric top in dem Matchup ist am besten.
The that GENG have built here with Ambessa, Galio, Lee Sin, Rakan is actually a dive comp itself. With Xayah having the ability to follow up with feathers and make it really difficult to actually engage onto the Xayah. If she's a little bit far back, right, and the rest of the engagement, GENG, she just follows up, and then her low range doesn't matter because everybody's in melee range, everybody's brawling.
Yeah, there's not a lot of range on either side, really.
Yeah, so the Xayah, in that sense, really works well, and because we
have ich sehe Triple Kill für Tarzan.
Komisch. For FaZe, right? He has 300 gold the advantage right now. It is a lead, but it's not like
Ace für stompt die 2-0 Animation. Warum geht Faker Airy statt DFT? Vielleicht DFT zu sehr genervt? Ich weiß nicht.
Effective by FaZe and Carrier, but not the end.
Mehr Value von Airy vielleicht im Early Game einfach mit Autotext.
Does when we get to some skirmishes coming up here, because that's when he's going to be able to get the shine.
Bisschen früher das Swap, 37, ne?
The mid game with this comp, you know, Xayah often you're like, okay.
3 Grubbies für GENG, verlieren dafür ein Camp.
You know, I think there's a lot of setup here for Ruler to find success.
Bekommen wir dafür die Crap, also auch Jungle ist sehr even jetzt wieder.
Obviously,
sehr even Steven.
That Infinity Edge, and that feels the best on 3. But still, I think, you know, Navori and the Essence Reaver should be pretty happy. Is now just facing off against FaZe. And yeah, like you were saying, I think this is like an acceptable amount of behind that he is coming out of the bottom lane laning phase.
FaZe, like, he generates leads. That's just what he and Carrier do. They're one of the most aggressive and most dominant bottom lanes we have. Not only in Korea, but in the world. So you give FaZe Lucian.
Wie zur Hölle ist Duro ein Level down?
Okay, Kane's just going to flash, but Ono with the flash follow. That's incredibly slick. Kane does manage to buffer the CC.
Flash war so weird von Keen, oder?
Comes on over, gets himself an assist, and that is Ono.
Der Flash war super weird von Keen.
The buffer drag from Owner on the flash play there. I did not expect him to commit because it's pretty hard to pull that one off, but he actually has the angle, has the timing there, gets the punish.
The flash timing from Kane was also like really clean, right? Because it felt like, you know, Ono was given as little time as possible to go for it.
If you mess that up by just a fraction of a second and you don't get that, you waste your flash and the play is a wash. Owner pulled it off brilliantly there on the Jarvan.
King can Conqueror, kannst du den Matchup nicht stacken.
First blood to him. Now Canyon looking for cross map here on the FaZe. Bit risky to go in on that queue though between turrets.
And this is giving
Gut,
a lot
so
of
2 Plates weg.
The lead is gone for FaZe practically here.
So they do manage to punish Kane, but as soon as Ono shows topside, GENG feel like they're unleashed on the other side of the map, able to get Ruler sort of a wave back in advantage. Canyon just hitting the Winds of War with his Q is not really the way to do it, as that's also not the way to do it. Ruler having to use his Feather Storm here in trade for the culling.
Keine Xayah für den Drake. Zweiter Drake weg.
We're going to see a really big, you know, 4v4, for example, on this upcoming Dragon. So keep an eye on that if he is going to commit to that fight. But otherwise,
the AD is fine.
That he's forced out of the lane in general. Now, when you look at the commitment here, as
weirdest replay timing.
From Owner,
Sehr weirdes Replay Timing.
Flash is perfectly right on top of Keen to get the
komischer Flash von Keen. Ich glaube, du musst immer also ich glaube, da musst du immer ulten. Die EQ kommen, musst du, glaube ich, immer ulten und dann die Ulti halt flashen.
Versus just one attempted there by Keen, so that's something to consider as well. Doran now flashless and could be a little bit more vulnerable. Also, Jarvan a little bit less engage range for a potential team fight.
Also dann, ich glaube auf Mitte ein bisschen Mask right, aber auch Bot den Lucian mit fertigem Reaver. Gibt den Drake, meiner Meinung nach.
Yeah, I do think that if T1 commit
theoretisch auch Doran TP Advantage.
Could lose a lot. There are 3 grubs on GENG right now.
Okay,
and so Doran is teleporting down Keen without his teleport. He will be able to get a lot of work done towards this.
Weil ich den Fight für GENG so sehe. Die haben Rakan Ulti, I get it.
Baker can't get access right now, so they also have a great ward. It's about to time out to spot his approach.
Yeah, Winds of War come on over. Carrier not able to find the fire kick as Faker, I think, going to have to move back towards this wave. Chovy is going to be able to push that one in. And the Dragon is kind of...
Frage ist, ob Keen runtermoven würde jemals. Oder ob er einfach dafür spielen will, okay, wir bekommen entweder 4 gegen 4 oder Dora TP drunter und wir bekommen...
is going to be used by Duro to get himself out of there as Chovy is going to be the target. Shockwave comes down on top of him to interrupt the heroic entrance, and out he will go.
Fucking weird.
All right, well, it's an ult for ult there, but the second one is the better one.
Warum wollt ihr denn nicht direkt nach der EQ?
Locks him in place.
That was
such
a strange ultimate from Chovy.
I think he just, I think maybe realized he's in a really rough spot, likely dead, and just wanted to at least get something. Maybe Faker will ult this, and I will get at least a shock.
Und Keen läuft runter, verliert jetzt Platten. Hä, was machen die?
Yeah, he was never really going to be able to get out of that one. And normally, if you're going to commit to a scrap like that, you want a Galio ult in. But he was kind of isolated and alone there. Doran also getting some alone time with his top turret, getting a lot of money. So big win for T1 all around on this play. Now the double dragon into Hextech Soul. It's a 1,300 gold lead here. Chovy's CS is effectively gone. So
he will be able to make it back to lane. He'll continue farming things like this. Does have that Abyssal Mask that we were talking about, so that Imperial Mandate will be coming
Also sieht gerade nach Phylus aus.
when the Galio does get very, very strong. Ruler going for that battle zone.
Sieht nach einem Phylus für Genji aus gerade.
Now completed. Pays and Doran going to be doing a fair bit less. Owner as well. We'll have to watch out for Faker when he gets a few items together. However, let's have a look at this one more time, see whether we can make some sense of it.
The most important part of this fight is what you can't see on your screen right now. It's the Xayah and the Lee Sin that are on turret. It's just a huge miscommunication between the Genji members about what's going on here. And Chovy,
Also mein Kopf ist der Drake immer gegeben, right? Und du spielst dafür den TP. Das heißt, Chovy muss halt aufpassen, right? Weil er gecatcht werden kann.
Keria hadn't pressed any buttons yet, and Faker was there with Shockwave, so you were never going to get that ultimate off. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
Anyway, I suppose.
Owner is going to be taking a bit of damage here as Duro gets Cataclysm. There's the kickback from Canyon.
They're trying to get this turret here. Pays and Keria wanted to join, but they can't really get access, so it's going to get a bunch of damage done. Now Doran is the target.
All right. Doran taking a lot of damage here. Quickness comes down. There's the Charm Grand Entrance there as well. Good Q. He's going to connect there from Canyon.
Okay.
And Duro is tanking up the turret.
They should be able to get out too. Pays and Keria coming over.
All right. Q going to land there from Canyon.
Junge, wie viel Damage macht dieser Lucian? Flash draus.
It's a lot of damage, but onto Canyon.
Bro, wie viel Damage macht Lucian?
Owner's flagging and dragging away.
Chovy's TP wurde gecancelt.
Able to help lock down the remaining kills here in this fight. Pays.
Holy fuck, man.
Too much is Keen. Very low. But this is not all that diveable, even with 3 people.
I know Flash no ult. I don't think he can get a punish here. Pays wants this.
He will have a shield back up again, and he's dashing around, just knocks out Pays. We knew it. We saw it.
Achso.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching. Keen is ready.
Ja, aber guck mal, das ist doch so braindead schon wieder das zu machen. Ich verstehe. Die haben, by the way, das, also, es war doch so gut für T1 und dann, also.
Scenario there on the bottom side. Flash outplay in the skirmish itself.
Nee, Mann.
Have it here. Cleanse not required in this defense of the turret shot. Yeah, he got the heals from Keria and I think thought he had enough health to survive. We'll now see Keen, rather Doran TP down to try to catch Keen, and Keen,
he's going to try and teleport away, but it's not going to work. He just gets flash nod. Down he will go.
Ich finde, das Game ist ganz komisch. Von Qualität her irgendwie low.
Like, aha, they will not be able to cancel this, and then it just gets canceled.
Fühlt sich irgendwie low an.
Makes a little bit more sense. Was out of vision there, and sort of went for it. And the attempted teleport doesn't pay off. But
Genji für den dritten Drake haben den Herald.
Even though Pays died for a fairly silly reason, they have so much control. They're pushing the mid turret. This Lucian has 2 items. They have Soul Point coming up here in 90 seconds. I don't think Genji are anywhere near
Fiend Hunter bei Lucian.
to contest.
Whoa, 2-man Shockwave does come down here as Ruler pretty late on the Featherstorm, will eat the damage and then go up into the air, putting that on cooldown. Doran in the bottom lane also grabbing first turret blood.
Yeah, they lose
ist ihm Culling Poke hier so wichtig?
T1 are also getting a majority of these plates here. This is a cannon wave. Ruler so low on health, they almost get the mid turret. They will get it very easily if they're able to commit for another wave later on when they're grouped up. And it's 50 seconds until this dragon spawns. Herald is in the hands of Canyon. He got that top side before they tried to get the turret first. They failed. As we're going to go back to this. So Keria gets the campfire up onto Pays, who does not have barrier because he went for the cleanse.
Sicker sidestep zumindest, also passive sidestep.
So
yeah,
war schon sehr insane.
To explain it, but just don't think that was realistic.
Had Eclipse, therefore get shield and
shield
BK.
Shield is pretty good. Pays like, I have a shield too, but yeah. All right, that was the replay we chose to show. I wanted to see Pays' flash outplay again, but ultimately we'll just have to go watch the VOD for that one. Like I said, T1 have full control over this dragon. The only thing that can disrupt that is a potential combat herald here for Canyon. He's holding it right now. He's
Das ist
got
auch kein Flash auf
his
Doran.
kick, but no flash. So it is going to be really tricky to deny the soul point to T1 with a 2-item Lucian.
And there's no Featherstorm either. I think it's looking a little bit dire. Soul Point's such a huge deal, though.
Going to trade it for mid-turret, I guess?
Shelly, yeah, exactly. That's looking like what they want to go for here. As the Dragon has now spawned the orb, they do have to be careful about it, as Faker is making sure that it's always in a dangerous position. Will Canyon connect the Q? He does. Not able to steal away the Drake, though. There is a public execution. They get on top of Ona. There's the heroic entrance onto 3 for Chovy, who gets into this backline. Doran able to peel for Pays quite nicely, and down will go the Galio. It is a trade, but Ona for Chovy will take it as T1, especially as they get Soul Point at the same time. And now they might even be able to claim more. King gonna have to try and dash away from this. But I don't know whether it's quite going to be enough. Tries to utilize these Raptors, but the relentless pursuit.
Ich verstehe den Sayarakan-Pick nicht, es tut mir leid. Also, ich finde, Lushmilo ist so OP. Und dann pickst du noch Sayarakan. Ich kapiere es nicht. Ohne Spaß. Es geht nicht in meinen Kopf rein. Ich check's nicht.
And that's really helpful for this composition. It's got an ambassador.
Ich check's nicht.
A Lee Sin, you know, to be able to look for flanks and stuff like that. But this fight was always going to be incredibly risky.
Nicht nachvollziehbar.
Steal attempt, that's one thing. I can get behind that. It was incredibly low, 47 here. Canyon has to leave. I want to see the Ambessa ult. Okay, just not quite able to do anything with that because they just don't have any follow-up for Chovy going in. Chovy ends up getting a massive ult, but there's just no damage here. Ruler, like you said, didn't have his ult until just now. So cannot offer any damage. It's a 2-item Lucian. I don't know how many times we got to say it, but I think GENG just really wanted to throw a spanner into the works. The attempted steal, if you get that and only Canyon dies, or even he gets away, as he actually did in the attempted steal there, then I'm behind it, but actually committing further into the fight is just a bridge too far, I think. Ruler is the only one with a gold lead in this game.
And kind of crazy that it's him with one as well.
I think is really the main part of that.
I mean, didn't Pays, he cashed in a Cull as well, right?
Oh yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah, so on some Cull parity, might have been able to hit that quest a little bit earlier, perhaps, for Ruler. But still, we'll see whether that silver lining is going to work out here, because 1.2 thousand gold is not exactly end of the world. Hextech Soul is, especially when it's on a Lucian. He'll be able to just, electrocute people, and it's just going to not be a whole lot of fun.
Game Set ist so fucked.
So T1...
Also es ist nicht fuck, es ist eine 1000 Gold. Aber diese Fights sehen unplayable aus. Komplett unplayable.
When you have this composition for GENG, you know, we talk about range a lot, especially when we talk about Hextech Soul. If you have any form of poke, it becomes so much easier to get value out of the Hextech Soul because you can proc the slow easily. But when you're trying to get into the thick of things with a low range comp and you're kind of this brawly,
Changes mal viel aus. Sollen sie von Early Game rausnehmen.
Strong in a phalanx type set, but the initial part of the engage will be mobile, right, with the ambassador.
Noch kein Game gespielt.
When you're in that big death,
ja, 2-0, ja.
If you get slowed, it really hurts your ability to continue to fight. And so Hextech Soul will be so not strong necessarily for T1's comp, but strong into Genji's comp.
Ich meine, der Galio, dem Galio geht sehr, sehr gut.
About it, and I think why they wanted to commit so hard to try
am Hardspiken jetzt.
It's only 1,500 gold, the lead here for T1. And again, Ruler has a gold advantage right now and is getting closer to that IE, which is a big spike for him. But T1 hold a lot of the cards right now.
Was war bei Lucian? Ich weiß nicht, ob Sculling so wichtig ist.
Yeah, all it takes is one big fight and maybe a catch on the Faker.
Let's see. Faker often is caught in sides like this, but often they do get the cross-map play. Nice two-man shockwave is going to come in. And there is the Winds of War, so down will go the Orianna.
So
I don't really see too much of an answering play here.
Irgendwie ist das Game low, guys. Ich weiß nicht, wie ich es erklären soll.
Map this time. There isn't a way to save Faker.
Nameplates aus, es sieht sehr low aus.
Just dies in sides. And just like that, the gold lead of T1, as small as it was, is halved. And Chovy picks up a second gold lead here for GENG.
Yeah, pretty much shutdown as well, which is kind of crazy as he does pick up the wave at the same time. We'll just check
so eine fucking weirde Wave zu nehmen, oder nicht? Keine Vision, niemand ist da auf der Map. So eine weirde Wave.
There's no jungler to shadow him. He is just straight up alone.
Wait,
greedy.
Speaking of a lone wolf, Owner is
a loner.
He's Owen Wilsoning behind enemy lines. That movie is getting older and older every time I make that reference, and now I imagine there's people who are younger than that movie. that are watching here as, okay, teleport comes in from Doran. The grand entrance will knock him up. Chain CC is decent, but the shockwave is
Lucian, by the way, holy fuck, man.
Does nothing to get Keen out of that one. And Ruler's just going to have to run away. The kick to get Pays out of the fight as there's the flash from Canyon to try and keep him alive. 30 seconds until Hextech Soul and GENG are melting at the hands of T1.
Very easy cleanup here for
this
T1.
game is low.
GENG now on the back foot. Dragon spawns in 20 seconds. Chovy does not have teleport. Keen will have it.
Dieser Lucian ist nicht balanced. Überraschung.
Yeah, he does, but if T1 just goes straight to the Dragon and do it on spawn here, I mean, they might not even group for it. They could just have Owner solo it while they get more damage on this turret. There isn't a fight. There isn't anywhere to go to join. It is just checkmate on Hextech Soul at 23 minutes into the game. It's going to be around like 23-20 or 23-30. They're going to look for a TP flank here. This is crazy by GENG. See, maybe it's just so crazy it could work.
Well, let's see. No Dragon Rage kick. Pays going to get over here is now Keen. Just trying to dance on in. It's going to be the Hextech Soul going over to T1. And now Keen not fully committed to that fight, but they will just lose the soul. And I just feel like we haven't seen GENG find the team play that we're used to from this squad, right? This is a composition that can team fight pretty well, but just all game. T1 have had the 5v5 advantage.
They've had the tempo advantage, right? And it's a numbers game that GENG are losing. Now, in this case, Doran is the one they commit all their CC to, but he's a Mega. I think they just saw the TP on the ground and they were like, well, we'll blow up whoever is there, but Doran is just too tanky. And the Pays is like, well, all your buttons are on cooldown. I could just walk towards you. There's a peel attempt from Canyon onto the Lucian. He's not trying to kick the Lucian in and pick him. He's trying to get that Lucian the hell away from his teammates. That Lucian's a problem. We got to get him away. Pays ends up picking up a kill here onto Chovy. They get the Dragon for free. And this is the most dominant small gold league game we've seen in a while. It's only 2.5K, but it feels like the game is so donezo at this point.
Yeah, it's like we're ahead by almost nothing. However, we have Hextech Soul. We've demanded control of absolutely everything. And you are feeling completely shut out of this game as if it's a 10K gold lead without that actually being the case.
It's been a game of Canyon almost stealing dragons, but not being successful, and T1 winning every fight that GENG have otherwise opted into. And now the game is just so difficult to play out with those slows rolling through constantly so early on as well. 3 items for Pays. That IE is still not done for Ruler.
Yeah. Auto Reminder ist there as well, so it's going to deny a bunch of the healing.
Was T1 sehr gut gemacht hatte, dieses Game ist in wichtigen, crucial Situationen davor, also vor den Situationen, immer die Saya-Ulti rauszubekommen. Hab's Gefühl, Saya war ein absoluter Non-Faktor in diesem Game. Was erwartbar war, weil der Saya-Pick nicht gut war, aber sie haben da nochmal einen extra guten Job damit gemacht. Wahrscheinlich 85er Stück.
Now slink back into the fog of war, threatening this purple worm, and GENG might actually have to leave their base in order to go and contest it.
GENG have all of their ultimates up, and they can still command a really aggressive engage on an attempted Baron. They will go over here and check. They have to be very cautious about how they do this, but they know there's no shockwave, so it's pretty easy for them to come over here carefully one by one and clear up this vision. Now trying to look for a turn. I think this is just desperation. It might work. I mean, T1 only have the Scuttle Crab and Vision around the top side of the Baron, but this is a great
Bowling Picture kann
Caitlyn lane. They can get away with it. It can put them back in the game.
Caitlyn lane.
Is able to throw that orb over the wall. They do get the idea as to what's going on here.
On that
auch Zeri.
Teleport coming in from Chovy, gets into heroic entrance range.
Zeri, Yumi,
There's that Hextech Soul doing a bunch of work, but the culling is not going to find the mark, and the Flag and Drag also goes wide. Fire kick, not hitting too much either. So T1, they will stop the Baron, but they will not punish GENG too much for it. As GENG are now finding themselves on a pretty awkward part of the map. Now Ruler's getting chased down by Faker. Shockwave gets the Feather Storm.
Ja, genau das meine ich, ne?
Trade of ultis.
Crucial Situation incoming.
T1 to have a layer of safety removed from the Xayah.
They've got so much control over these choke points as well as the slows to play through.
Oh, there's a Gnar onto Keen as well. He's just cataclysmed. Dunked down by Ona, and they should now be able to move over towards this Baron once again. Keen up in 43 seconds. This Baron is going to be long gone.
Yeah, that's just a brilliant play from T1. Faker walks up to 3 people and gets Ruler's ultimate. It looks like a low-value shockwave if you just watch that small instance, but when you look at the grander picture of the Hextech Soul, the lack of vision for GENG, the fact that they have to retreat into these choke points, there's no top turret, it was the Baron securing play. just ulting and hitting nothing, not getting a Xayah, getting the ultimate, and getting position. And like, T1 hold all the cards in this game. Faker is in in a gold deficit and has a Blackfire Torch and a Rocket Bell. He's low damage Orianna, but he's still made an incredibly impactful play because that's how much control T1 have here. That's why the gold matters so little in terms of how big the number is. It's a lot bigger now that they have the Baron, and this map that they already have controlled is really just, for them, a way to continue to control Prio on a very early Elder, pre-30 minutes here. They're not breaking open the base with this Baron right now, but the Elder was definitely going to be a different story.
Yep. And the thing this is all making me think is, at the beginning of this game, I wanted to give GENG the benefit of the doubt, right? What I've been saying, and I even told this to Spawn when TL were going up against T1, I'm like, as long as you like ban Faker's Orianna, like you won't look silly, you know? Because that is the most important thing to do against T1. I thought that GENG might have a plan, and as it turns out, they didn't. Keen's gonna get shockwaved here. He went to try and find his ultimate, but Ambessa can't really do that very much anymore, as Canyon's going to get locked down. There's the kickback onto Ona, but it's only to get them out with relative safety. Justice Punch is a great answer here, but Chovy's response is death.
Das Game war ziemlich low.
Down that kill, and T1 should be just cruising.
Horrible Rakan.
The Nexus here to pick up their first win of this best of 3. GENG going for a last-ditch attempt here, but without Chovy, it's so difficult to defend against T1.
A game that only really had that one blemish of Fakers getting
und horrible first two deaths actually. Also Keen tot und Chovy tot waren so schlecht.
Not even able to use great chain CC out of T1. They shut GENG out of this from minute 1, it felt like. And with one Baron, they'll destroy the GENG Nexus and see whether they can pick up their first victory here.
Schrecklich, schrecklich, schrecklich.
GENG home turf.
T1, one of their biggest issues, especially in the loss against KC, right, which is the one everybody always brings up, is their haphazard control over objectives, their ability to think that they have control over a fight or that they can take any fight without positional control. There was not one dragon fight in this game where GENG had any ins. It was attempted steals from Canyon only, and that weird awkward play where Chovy was there by himself and got caught and punished. On the third dragon, they fully sent it, and T1 won the game in that moment.
Ja, ohne Sabana.
Very decisive. Safe build from Faker. He got caught in the side lane once, but his rocket belt saved him against that final engage there on the bottom lane. T1 left nothing to chance. Very defensive, very oppressive playstyle here in this first game. A big departure, I think, of what we've seen from a lot of T1, where they've been a little bit fast and a little bit loose, getting punished by teams that we expect them to beat. But against one of their toughest opponents, they hunker down and get it done in this first game.
They really did, and GENG absolutely didn't. So we'll hope that they show up in Kintex here for game number 2.
Haben wir aber besser gewonnen, nö.
Really did feel like things were very muted. We know
Also auf Botzeit
after they
haben wir
got
die Ding
back from
gepickt,
Paris,
one
they
two.
had a dominant day in the Kesper Cup. We need to see more of that.
Mal,
If we want
also
this
es waren halt dumme
series
Tode jetzt hier,
to
ne?
be competitive.
Der
It
King
is
Death war
time for
dumm,
us now to
Chovy Death war
take a
dumm.
short break. When we get back,
Und auf Botzeit kannst du nicht vertesten, 3 gegen 3.
break down that game number 1, and then we'll be back for game number 2.
Das ist keine
See you soon.
Dame-Pressures.
So I'm going to be showing you guys 3 upcoming pals that will be coming to this game in the future, and one mod that you can install to play some of these pals early is the creative menu mod. Now this pal doesn't have a name yet, so this is how the pal looks up close, and I will be honest, it does remind me of Mewtwo. He has level 3 handiwork, level 3 medicine production, and level 2 transport. And if we were to compare the regular version to the alpha version, you guys can see the size difference right here. The next upcoming pal is the Drago Strophe, I think think that's how you say its name, which is a dark type and a dragon. He only has a level 3 in transport. And then you guys can see the size comparison right here. So you can see the normal one compared to the alpha one, which is absolutely huge. And then last but not least, we have Bolt Main, which looks like a cool fire type, but it's
okay.
라칸 난쪽 나 공어 쪽. 네 라칸 그 리신 앞으로 가는. 오케이. 공대. 내가 하나 싹 가. 그냥 가보든가. 템 지금 더블 이슈. 좋다 이.
간편하게, 편리하게, 앱에서 한 번에 포인트 정리까지. 우리 이야기는 계속될 테니까. 우리 틴틴, 우리은행.
Ah, ich bin fertig, glaube ich, mit Powerbot. Ich glaube, ich bin fertig. Wir machen ein bisschen Hype in die Series. Wie ist die Stimmung hier? Ja. Wir machen ein bisschen Hype in die Series. Ja, wir brauchen einen guten Draft erstmal. Guten Draft und dann schauen wir mal. Ausruhe einfach 19, für den 16. Dankeschön.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Dum.
쓱싹 씻고
Big
바르고 깎고 깎고 면도 쉽게 가자. 부드럽게 쓱 매끈하게 싹 면도 쓱싹 해치웠다. 질레트 랩 스팁 클렌징 바 쓱싹 씻고 바르고 깎고 깎고 면도 쉽게 가자. 부드럽게 쓱 매끈하게 싹 면도 쓱싹 해치웠다. 질레트 랩 스팁 클렌징 바
Dum. Ja, wie wäre es denn mit Sünderer in Game 2, ha? Wie wäre es mit Sünderer? Füllboden für 160er. Eine kleine, aber feine Sünderer. Ja, das mit Sobo habe ich schon gelesen. Ja, was soll ich sagen? Wir lassen uns mal überraschen. Ja, wir lassen es dabei. Wir lassen uns einfach mal überraschen.
Something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The infinite precision armrest is part of the largest.
So, ich bring kurz mein Porridge.
To bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
Game 2.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른
Und dann sicherlich Game
선수들도
3.
채팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때 더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Every sky's a line I'm drawn. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone.
And the reigning world champions ruined the homecoming here in game number 1 for Gen G. It is 1-0 T1 over Gen G at the Gen G homestand. Welcome back to our home here in the space. Degon alongside Wadid and Huni to break down that last matchup for you. And y'all, I think there was a pretty clear theme from the draft into the first almost like 15 minutes of the game. This was pretty standard, a standard draft.
It was surprisingly slow enough. I mean, League Classic got released, and all the draft is Classic now.
Back to the Classic.
No more epic AP bot lanes. I think.
Definitely not. Definitely
I mean, I think they just have the normal idea to have just do simple draft into the game, and then I think that can make the game plan so much easier. And I do believe that is a T1 goal right now, because they were having some so many random shenanigans back in the hand. So I think they really wanted to make it simple here.
Yeah, I mean, it is for sure. As we pointed out, when you play AP champion, especially on bottom, if you make a mistake once, it could easily roll the game so fast, and it's against the enemy AD carry, the real AD carry, right? And they have a better potential, higher potential in the later game, and that's why the people kind of I don't say stop, try to avoid a little bit.
Maybe that's because it's LCK, you know, because all the LCK teams are quite steady and rock steady, you know. They don't really make silly mistakes that enough. So I think maybe that's the reason why they're picking up more normal ADs here.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at where the action picked up around that 15-minute mark. It was an attempted play here initially onto Doran that gets turned around on its head.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great dive from Gen G, but the reaction from T1 was great. They already got the mid priority, so Paze ran in here, tried to bait it out, the skill shot flash into the 3-man, and that was super clean, and he cleans up all the targets here.
I mean, he could have played a little bit better, right? He could have probably used ulti later, but the still thing, I think the Gen G did manage the Ollie play really well, but they have to recognize that they use a support to actually roam the bottom, because they were at the mid. They actually overextended because they just chunked the J4 before, so they can't be connected between the AD carry because he was hard stuck on mid. So the play has to be really quick, but it was too, it was too slow.
There are still places to grow here, though, for T1, as the dive afterwards, not as clean as we're used to seeing. Paze end up taking the tower shot there, with Keria not necessarily engaging. But then after that, the second big play happened at the Drake right next there, where Gen G are just a little bit too far split. They get punished here.
I mean, look at the setup. They're not even ready to take the fight here. I don't think Ruler can jump in and deal a damage. Chovy tried to deny their damage dealer, but that's not enough. You need Abessa, you need Rakan, you need Zaya to jump in together, but they're split. So this is such an easy fight for T1.
Ein sogenannter Bulle.
I mean, it is favor fight already from the setup, as what Wadid mentioned, because the T1 was already ahead, and Gen G is the one that's trying to go in because they are playing Galdi into Orianna. Orianna was just trying to zone the control and making sure they can't just walk off for free. T1 did actually a really great job today. if you see the team right now, it's like how they playing, how they manage the setup around the playing objective. I think T1 is playing for sure better, and I feel like they're more connected. They're more same pages, I'll say.
Yeah, I think the Orion and the Jarvan knew what their job was. It was after the smite, we're going to make the space for the rest of the team, able to do that, followed up with the punish. And then another opportunity here for GENG to get a pick, and they bite off more than they could chew. TP in the mid lane, they're like, all right, we're just going to jump on this dude. It's probably Faker, right? No, it's Doran, and then they get punished.
Yeah, this is the opportunity that Keen found. Maybe they TP too aggressive, but it was really great defensive shockwave from Faker, and that's the follow-up from T1. So basically, I thought this is the mistake where T1 normally makes it when they are like playing bad, and when we say T1 Circus, but it was GENG who was making those kind of silly mistakes, and like there's no purpose for those fights. You know, they're not setting up for the objective, they're just playing for kills, and that's not gonna work because T1 now, they neutralized the situation where they were kind of like struggling to find the clear game plan, right? I think now the game feels more simple and clean from T1.
Yeah, I mean, at that moment, I think that
Jetzt kommt noch an, wie die Series ausgeht.
damage from the GENG. It was even though it was a Mininar, maybe
Wie Free Subs gab es bisher?
burn the
Wir haben bisher nur ein einziges Mal mehr als einen bekommen.
AP carries, you know, it's kind of blows.
Yeah, well, GENG will need to bounce back here if they want to make that home crowd growing all gold, but it is the red that take first blood. T1 1-0 over GENG. Let's send it back on over to Atlas and Wolf for game number 2.
So.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that breakdown of game number 1. And hopefully we get GENG waking up here for game number 2. It did kind of feel like T1 just played their game plan and rolled over the top in that first one. I want to see a little bit more explosive style, perhaps, out of GENG. Maybe some more action in the earlier stages of the game, Wolf. Yeah. So we can get into this one.
I think my biggest takeaway from that game, and you know, we did see both Woodid and Huni touch on this. We talked about it in the game itself. Is just how controlled this game was by T1, and that's what's been missing, I think, in a lot of their recent failures. And in this first game that we just watched, like there were almost no margins for GENG to play through. There was almost no errors, right? We had Pays doing a silly overextension to try to kill Keen, and then Faker was overextended the top lane. But besides those two minor things in the grand scheme of the game, GENG just didn't have any ends. T1 were super good on the objective setup. Okay, I was going to say, I might need like 5D glasses to see the draft or something. That was one of those games we were playing.
Nope. We are just into the regular draft, Wolf. It's fine. If you do need the 5D glasses, we will have them prepared for you for game number 3. But I didn't think that our LCK Team Roadshow was going to be that intense.
I thought it was just going to be one of those things where LCK is doing a big push where they make me buy an accessory to cast the
First pick Syndra?
like the NSO boy. What's going on with that?
I'm sorry, you're going to need the LCK Meebo in order to make this one work.
Part of your membership
scan that one in
is to buy another thing. What?
Yeah.
Don't do that to me, Ninty.
Yeah, also just give me a subscription as well for that one. All right, the Bard and the Jace both going to be taken away. There is that Poppy ban that we missed out on in the first game. And the Cassio will be banned away as well. T1, I think, angling towards a Rise pickup, perhaps, but we haven't seen the Blue Man find all that much success.
He has really, I think he's 0-3. He's really not having a good time.
No.
Not to mention, Locke is still available as well here at this moment in time.
That's a good point. Locke was banned 3rd on red side last time, but it's Nocturne this time.
If they ban Locke, could be a potential just Victor angle here for GENG. I know it doesn't really suit the theme of what you were hoping for when you were talking about more aggressive early game, but could be a flex pick still. Ruler has been one of the best Victors in the bottom lane, even though people hate it.
Whoa, okay.
All right, Locke is available.
So who's going to play it? Is it going to be Ruler, Chovy, or King?
There's also a small chance, and this game 2 draft.
Ja, gemeinsam laufen auf Hatewatch. Schwierig, Call of Fantasy.
No, I'm writing it in.
Also die Locke ist offen, aber
Faker is an unknown on the Locke. Same with Chovy. I don't think either of them have played a professional game on it just yet. So Vi will be prioritized instead here.
Okay, that is crazy. Vi is, you know, very, very high priority at the moment, but I was expecting the Locke to be locked in.
I don't think Locks get played. I don't think it's happening. I mean, now
dann spielt Syndra, dann pick Syndra.
So it could be Locke Vi mid jungle here for GENG, but with this draft, with the Xin coming through, Ezreal being hard to lock down, pun intended in this case, so I'm trying to get on top of him.
Pick Syndra, kommen wieder E-Sport Recaps, hast du vorgenommen.
Pretty far away. You do want to scrap early to get the lock online. You want to dive, so you need a winning bottom lane to set it up. Lock is not a free win. I know we talk about how strong he is, especially in the Rise group. It just gets so volatile and crazy, but I think at this level of play in Pro, you really need a lot of setup to make sure that you can get that lock online. Otherwise, you know, it does not just become broken later by default in the game.
Lock it in, Chovy. Don't be scared.
I mean, I want to see Chovy play lock.
Ich würde jetzt sagen, pick kein Match. Ich glaube, Jungle Match noch First Free ist nicht bad.
It is playable, but you need a winning bottom lane too.
I mean,
Into this
I don't know.
Ezreal.
Syndra.
There is the opportunity for Faker to answer it if it does come on through, but instead,
That's not happening.
just be the Ziggs. Oh man, thought we were going to be locking it up. You know, locking and loading.
I mean,
Lock,
you have,
stock,
like,
and
I
through
think
smoke and barrels.
Part of the problem here is that the Jarvan and the Lee Sin are gone. You know, Vi works pretty well with it, but, you know, Lee Sin is so much dive potential if you have a winning lane and you can approach from so many different angles. Lock gets...
Möchte wollen verlieren, ja, sobald die...
There's no way this lane is winning.
This is way less fun than Lock, you know?
Oh, fake.
Okay, that's Rise. I mean, that's more fun than Karma, I'll give you that. But it is not exactly finding the most success at this point in time. I think also Zig's going to be very happy to be playing into a Rise whose range is far lower than that of the bouncing Bomber. So T1, they can choose to ban away the lock now if they would like to. As it's not likely
die sollten Syndra bannen oder nicht? Oder bin ich am Chippen?
anymore, given the fact
Syndra
that they've taken away their bottom lane champion as well as their mid lane.
Yone going to be taken away here from Chovy. See what comes through here on the GENG side of things. Karma, I think, is on the first part of the list.
Yep.
So luckily for you, I don't think we'll be seeing that one in this game. Bard's already banned. So best pushing support here with the Ezreal would be the Karma. Strong synergy. Pyke also can be a problem for Ziggs lanes, so they take that away first. Keria has been a madman on this pick, so a lot of respect. I don't know if you ban this against every support, but against Keria, it does feel like a safe choice.
Yeah, he is definitely the best Pyke that we have. We talk about it all the time, but his it was a loss, but that Pyke game where he had like 15 plays in the Mad Movie or something like that was one of the longest Mad Movie clips that we've ever had because that game was just a clinic. Really impressive stuff. I think the Alistair is also a decent one for T1. Not a huge fan of the Ezreal Alistair as there is the lock ban.
They just take it away just to be safe.
Yep.
And I still think Karma's a strong ban here. There's not a ton of engage here for T1, though, if they go for the Karma. So maybe GENG just don't think it's worth it. Maybe they're saying, well, Karma shields would be a little bit of an annoyance to us, but having a squishy support into our Vi comp is not a problem. We can just let them storm in the lane and be totally okay with it. Leona is still available here, too, for GENG, which is quite scary. Maybe T1 just take that away, because...
Yep.
BLG hat, by the way, Xerath eingeloggt auf 1-2.
Right.
But could be played top lane.
It can be, depending on the matchup. We don't know what the matchup is yet, so I was getting ahead of myself a little bit there.
Yeah, should be counter pick for Doran, you'd expect, but Keria might want to hold on to that.
Seraphine.
Instead, Seraphine is coming out, and that will be locked in here. So Ezreal Seraphine is a lot of poke and a lot of lane control, but they're already showing a Ziggs. Does kind of feel like they've indexed into a lot of lane control when GENG have opted out of laning at all.
Yeah. It's not the most amazing Seraphine angle either.
That's a Varus.
Yeah, that's a Varus. You know, it could also be Ziggs mid for Chovy, something we haven't really talked about too much or touched on, but...
Varus Topline, oder was?
Very flexible.
Ja.
Pick until this final pick.
Ja, Vayne werden hoffen. Ja.
Yeah,
what that support is going to be.
There are a lot of weird things that you could do with this, right? Like, where is the Shen going?
Where's the Varus going? And where's the Anivia going?
Yeah, see? The Anivia could be top lane. The Varus could be top lane. The Anivia could be mid.
So they're saying,
could be mid. Who knows?
They're saying, Doran, you have counterpick. Can you counterpick all, all four? Or all three, I suppose, in this case for top lane. Jax to be the option here for Doran. Into whatever it
Jax hat so wenig Value hier oder nicht.
For most of them,
Ich mag den GENG-Draft mehr.
Yeah, and okay, so I think it would also feel really good for Shen.
Ich mag den
to
Gen
play
G
into
Draft
the Jax.
mehr.
I'm not entirely sure. Of course, Shen
think
does
it's
like to
gonna be-
auto attack as well, so it's sort of like Twilight Refuge versus Counter-Strike, which is going to
Sollte deutlich leichter sein,
It's
dass er
gonna
noch.
be Varus top, Anivia mid, and
I
this
don't know
draft
how
for
I
Gen
feel
G is
about
really, it's really
Ja, also ich meine, der Draft ist okay
eclectic. I think that's a good word for it.
von
I
Gen
just
G,
feel like it's
right?
trying to do too many things. It's not
I don't know.
scaling draft. It's not a dive draft. It's not a Ziggs
Es Top Lane Varus, es ist
Meta,
genauso. Ja,
you know,
genauso
kind of draft where you have more CC to layer. You have the chains of corruption. The top lane Varus is definitely quite volatile, as we have Arnold and a lot of the Gen G staff here, supporting staff and leadership at this matchup here. They're watching this homestand, trying and praying and hoping that this eclectic draft where the flexes are immaculate, but end up being kind of predictable, could bring them to a game 3 here against T1. But T1 have a draft that we didn't like the Rise part of it, but we know what this draft does. It side lanes really well with a Rise and a Jax, and it has a really good front line and Seraphine extension.
Yeah, and it's also got Owner on his Zins out. It's the
Ja, ich glaube, der Jax hat aber fairerweise wirklich nicht so viel Impact.
He was phenomenal in the job, and see how he goes on the Zin as we get onto the Rift for game 2.
Abfahrt.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, nailed it. There was a big delay because you could barely hear the leader of the fan chants, but then it
Ja,
happened,
Jax gerade
and I didn't speak over it this time.
There you go.
There we not fired.
So Doran can't play level 1 without help because Shen doesn't go to lane. He goes to the top lane to power the Varus at level 1 because Ziggs is just going to be self-sufficient, like you said, in the bottom lane. So we just have this kind of
2v2 auf Top Lane, sehr interessant, ne? Also ist eine gute Adaption natürlich.
Something done for Doran here as Keria finally comes up here. Geen is in melee range, so he doesn't like that too much.
Yeah, so it's a little bit dangerous. Duro is now moving up. See whether he can defend, as Leap Strike does bring Doran closer. Kane, a little bit worried about how this one's working, but there is the taunt onto Ona. And the Halo Blade's actually working out very nicely here for Duro to get that extra
Okay, jetzt kein
damage.
Q, oder?
Kane's moving over, and Ona might have to give this one up. Has already taken the Raptors, so it's already a successful
Ona.
invade, but if they die, that is not what success looks
Nicht
like.
flashen.
That's a pretty cute little Wind Becomes Lightning flash there from Ona to get himself out, but he still has to expend the Summoner spell.
Yeah, the biggest win for T1 is that the red buff resets. Gen G are going to get their hands on this. Will be a big delay here from Owner. He's now flashless. Keen also didn't get an impressive level 1 start that he was hoping for.
Am Ende ist es gute Level 1 Adaption, right? Gefällt mir.
But it's gonna be very
Also von beiden Teams,
wave state
honestly.
right now, especially with
Natürlich am Ende ist es besser für Gen G, aber mir gefällt auch, dass Carrier da eben Topside öffnet.
out his side door. So
In diesen volatile Top-Lane-Matchups. Also ist finde ich gut.
Yep.
Duro is going to the let's say going to the mid lane. He's hovering in the mid lane right now at level 1 to try to potentially get a punish here onto this Rise that's very far up. He has flash still, so Faker needs to be careful.
Yeah, Duro actually just
driving
going
a
to
top
go and
into
get
base.
in here. No Ghost available for Faker. Had used that one previously. Chovy 5-1 on the Anivia thus far. Also Keen undefeated on this Varus that hasn't played it all too much. As now Ona could be in a little bit of trouble here. Steals
fucked,
away
oder? Kein Flash, er ist tot.
Dora's going to make his
Ja,
way
komplett.
in. Ona without Flash is just
Super.
going to get taunted up and destroyed. And that is the proactivity
Sehr, sehr geil.
we've been looking for from Gen G. But Faker is also going to get on in here, seeing whether he can push them away. Carrier taking a lot of damage as Ruler throwing the bombs around. And now Pays should be able to execute him. Picks up the kill. All baited there beautifully. And Duro went for the play here. Puts the flash on cooldown. Keen is able to get himself out. But still looking good here for Doran in the
Was
top.
auf Bottom passiert?
Towards Doran here as well. So much time was spent by Duro to try to make this play happen that he's obviously very far behind in experience, but that does mean that he'll be able to catch up. Ruler's got some additional ones, but he died. If Ruler was alive there and actually had farm, he'd be in a much better spot.
Also ich sehe hier 13:30 CS, by the way, was passiert hier?
Yeah, there's the minefield as Ruler is level 4, so does have access to this side.
Pays also has
exactly the best there from Pays.
Pays also has TP, so if he just gets half of Ruler's health bar in a trade and then TP's back in, he's fully in control again. with already more than double the farm of this Zig. So GENG warped the top side of the map with this Varus pick, and whenever you have a ranged top in
Was passiert hier auf Botlane?
this meta, you always have the silly level 1 where a bunch of craziness happens, right? But is it really working for them even though they had the proactivity? That's the real question. As Ruler flashes early here, Pays just doesn't miss on this Ezreal.
Okay, und warum läuft er jetzt hier so nach?
And then they just continue to chase here.
Hä?
This was kind of cute from Ruler, though, to just use the minion wave in order to try and kill Carrier. Obviously, Pays outplays it, lands all the abilities, takes down the Ziggs. But I think it was a kind of cute attempt. But Pays just a little bit too good.
Nee, kann ich nicht so ganz nachvollziehen.
Duro is still, you know, if you're in a solo queue game, kind of in a reportable state. Because Ruler is like, I already TP'd. I would like to kill the minions, please.
Yeah, where is Duro? Duro is supporting Canyon, not Ruler. Maybe there's another feud. Another AD carry in a little bit of trouble here, and it's Ruler. As he is now just going to mosey his way back towards the bottom lane. We jest, obviously, it is a Ziggs, and he does just need to...
Aber sie geben wieder Drake stacken ab, ich check das nicht.
For a lot of this game.
Yeah, the little game show we do, you and I were on LCK Feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound of that name's a little realer now.
Yeah, a little bit.
As Carrier is just going to push Ruler away. They are going to be able to get this first dragon with this amount of control. And Doran is behind as well, but this means way less, I think. Doran is still a Jax that's still going to be able to do a lot in this game, whereas the Zig
Den hält beide Teams, also wenn GENG so weiterspielt, ja.
Entirely for a while.
It's also the best first dragon as well. Ocean Drake is fantastic for the early lane as far as just a singular Drake is concerned.
Yeah.
So really good hit for T1.
It's the other problem is when you're playing, oh man, Pays is he's just so good in the lane, and obviously it's a tough matchup to play as Ziggs, because that's an okay.
Yeah, Ruler is he's not going to begin to have fun for quite some time.
I don't know if he gets to have fun ever in this this choice they've opted in for this draft. And it's like not about the fact that they picked Ziggs, it's about the fact that they tried to put Duro on full roam duty and said, you'll be fine against Pays. That's Pays, though. You're never, like, he's the guy who generates the leads. We saw it in the last game on the Lucian pick. Oh, no way.
Don't do it to him. He has to cancel the back. Might now have to wait for the minion wave as Duro somehow gets out of the way of that Scryer's Bloom. Could be important here. As Duro's still level 2, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder whether he will...
Level 6 auf Canyon, auch Carrier ist tot.
As over he goes, gets a preemptive flash out of Carrier here. That's just a Hex Flash from Duro. Nicely done.
Trying to grab that 3 icon next to Carrier's portrait there.
Yeah. Steal that one away.
Want level 3, please.
Threatening a Realm Warp.
This is such a bad
der ist Fakt, oder nicht?
for GENG.
Hey.
Might be able to make a play, though.
Er hat noch seine Wall, aber er kann die Ulti canceln mit der Wall.
There is a Varus making his way down the river, though. Chains of Corruption goes wide, but Cease and Desist cannot actually go wide.
Okay.
Chovy's going to pick it up with a Glacial Storm, and GENG will grab their second kill of the game.
Okay. Did not expect the heavy collapse there.
The Crystallize was large. As Doran's going to have to try again.
Schau mal auf Ruler, die arme Sau. Ey, der läuft Toplane, um dann wieder Botlane geschickt zu werden wie ein Köter.
Well, Duro hits level 3, which is the most important part.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
He has a
went up
whole
50% of a level.
And 50% of more buttons to press? Like, that's
ridiculous.
In terms of basic abilities, of course, he's got his summoners. Yeah, Baker's just up here. Chovy decides to extend this play, and Baker, there's nothing really he can do, right? I mean, he tries to Realm Warp, but it's obviously going to be interrupted because everyone on GENG is here.
Yep.
With the exception of Ruler, who didn't also add his ultimate to the mix. But now, we do have GENG with a gold lead here. This is still a problem in the bottom side, though. Like, Pays got an early Sheen buy, and then he was able to get his tier afterwards. He is just so huge, and Ruler is not going to be touching turrets, like talking about his passive, talking about satchels, talking about Ziggs, short fuse, all that. He's just going to be trying to clear waves as best as he can. 20 CS deficit at, 4 minutes into the game, that's huge. At 8 minutes, it's still pretty big, but it matters less and less if they can stabilize here. But right now, this Ezreal is still a problem that needs to be solved. T1 will grab this top side.
Wir brauchen diesen zweiten Drake, sofort den zweiten Drake, Mann.
Single grub for this Ziggs composition here. Jax having 3, pretty scary.
Yeah, there's a counter-strike onto Keen, but now that's on cooldown. As the Vault Breaker comes in, Canyon no flash to follow, but they get the flash out of the Jax. Very happy about how this top side of the map is going, but Chovy having to put his flash on cooldown is a big deal. Means that he cannot position as aggressively here in this lane, as Ruler just continuing to get hit by every single button. Minefield does go down, so at least Pays will take a little back himself, but this is not an even trade.
This is kind of risky here for Genji. Karius here. Doran's also collapsing.
Chovy
so risky, oder?
Control. They get vision absolutely everywhere. There is a secure on the blue.
It's
a decent taunt to land. Still, there is going to be that great Crescent Guard. Still, he goes down.
Ist nicht so risky, oder nicht? Ja, ja.
Counter-Strike, but where's the follow-up?
Ja, ja. Gut, dass wir ja dieselbe Idee haben. Ja, ja, genau. Danke. Also, das ist halt mies Grief von T1 gewesen, right? Lol, Pace ist auch noch tot, oder nicht? Lol. Also, da muss mir halt jemand erklären, was macht T1 das? Versteht ihr? Also, es ist mies low, oder nicht? Es ist mies low, oder nicht? No joke. Das ergibt, also nichts daran ergibt doch Sinn, oder nicht?
Is up here for T1 after such a controlled game one. We are right back in the T1 circus. Now, the part of this that's the most absurd is how Faker wants to try to hide that he's coming up.
Aus dem Nichts, oder nicht?
Chovy knows he just walls him off, and when this Counter-Strike comes in, Faker's still high, he's still waiting.
He was like
also ohne Spaß, das ergibt gar keinen Sinn. I mean, jetzt fixst du, jetzt ist dann, der Adek ist auch noch gefickt, by the way. Der ist doppelt TP.
And like, if Pays was going to TP into the fight, it needed to be so much earlier, and also like into the fight. As he comes over here, tries to get a kill on the Duro, finally Carrier picks it up, and now Pays is in amongst it. And this is just a disaster. All the leads, all the advantages that Pays had, it all means nothing now.
That wall was absolutely gorgeous from Chovy there as well. The GENG fans, they can see a game 3. It is coming. As there is the Drake secured Chemtech Soul this game as well. Not exactly the greatest of Chemtech angles, but still will be valuable. As Duro looking to try and stop Owner here, who was just
natürlich gut gepunished. Der hat keinen, also, aber trotzdem ist es so toll.
Weird, to be perfectly honest. They get into the Crescent Guard. Or at least they try to. Keen not quite able to get a lot of value there.
Den nächste Wall.
Just trying to play some defense. They're waiting for another Shadow Dashes. In goes Duro, but he doesn't get the taunt. Still Keen. He's able to grab his fifth.
Schau euch, das ist so toll.
Faker now trying to run away. He's got the Ghost. So running is something he's pretty good at. But the cease and assist comes down.
Ich sag's euch, macht die Nameplates aus. Das ist ohne Spaß. Ihr würdet, es ergibt keinen Sinn. Da passieren so random Dinge. Da passieren so random Dinge.
We had a game one that was pretty low action, pretty low kills, pretty controlled by T1. Not only is this not controlled by T1, but it's a lot of aggression, it's a lot of kills early, and it's GENG who are massively ahead in this one as we start to crest the 12-minute mark. Another attempt at it. I don't want to call
Wenn AD Carry fistet so hart, mein Mann ist 30, 40 CS ahead und du,
you know, we often call this an overload, but they don't have all of the tools. Like Faker isn't here initially, and yes, with Crescent Guard, there's some wiggle room where you could buy some space, but Faker just cannot get access to this fight initially as Chovy's blocking him. He does have Realm Warp, but doesn't opt to use it. And yeah, he just walks in here, gets caught by Canyon
also
on the
nicht Prime League Level, aber
and dies.
Vom Gameplay her natürlich, aber es sieht sehr random aus.
This game is very quickly falling by the wayside here for T1. I don't want to call it early, but it is certainly a set of advantages that I did not see coming after what happened in the early game.
Yeah, I would agree. Faker is now once again in a whole lot of trouble. The chain CC is coming on through as the Glacial Storm will be up again. But it's not going to be Faker dying this time around. Carrier might be in trouble though, as Owner is already over here looking to try and defend their mid laner.
Das Game ist natürlich komplett fucked.
So Canyon
right?
Kind of
Komplett fucked.
Momentarily. Moon becomes lightning over towards the Krugs, and Owner will be out at least keeping.
Weil die jetzt halt proaktiv die ganze Zeit engagen können oder invaden können. Die haben jetzt auch Shen plus Weiß, das heißt, sie sind auch stärker im 2v2.
Like you said, because Canyon gets
ist Keen tot? Oh, Keen ist tot, oder?
That really important encore. Doran is trying to do a thing with Pays.
Yeah, Pays is going to show up here. Faker is there as well. Kane is extremely dead.
Guter Play von denen.
Mega dead, some would say. And so he is just going to have to wait with the great.
Guter proaktiver Play, den sie machen.
Should be able to get the cross map play though.
Kannst Bot nicht entern, das heißt, du kannst top.
Also going to get wiped out. So not a whole lot extra that can be got, but Keen, that was a big shutdown that they managed to claim.
Yeah, they grabbed it to Pays as well. So, you know, he has been the one who's the big lead here for T1. Now he is an even larger one over his counterpart of Ruler.
Ich glaube, also dieser Ruler hat sich schon selber verkauft. Der erste Tod war wieder so, also ich weiß nicht, was er erwartet hat. Dachte er, wenn die Wave pullen, dann wird er auf der nächsten Wave gedived, oder was?
It gives them a lot of extra space and time in this game. It is Chemtech Soul. It's not Hextech or Infernal or anything like that crazy in this game, but still does allow them to kind of slow the game down. Any moment that Doran can spin to the side like this with 3 grubs is massive for T1.
Yeah, and this gold lead is going to really disappear. As now Faker is also probably going to disappear. Canyon's going to show up, does manage to get the kill. I thought maybe he just grabbed himself an assist. That doesn't happen, but the turret is going to fall down towards that bottom side.
It's like play-ins. Everyone's trying to kill Faker, except they're actually doing it. Because this isn't play-ins. This is, even though it looks like an MSI stage, it's just Gen.G's homestand. They're the home team. And Faker's dying a lot in this one.
He is. This time, though, they are actually making the cross-map work. You know, Doran able to take down turrets all over the map here. And so T1 keeping themselves somewhat competitive when it comes to the gold, despite the 10-4 kill ratio, which is not fantastic.
I mean, it's Vi and Varus that have the money for the most part. I mean, Chovy has a lot of farm money, right? Because he has the lead over a Faker who has not really spent much time outside of the Death Chamber in this game.
Yeah.
So his lead is over Faker, but it's not like he's sitting on piles of money. He is pretty fed in this game. But I think the core for T1 is trying to get some punishes, get some of these shutdowns if you can, and especially if you get onto Faker, because this actualizer feels like it's never going to be built this game if something doesn't change.
Oh, yeah. That is going to be a teleport to the mid lane here from Chovy as well. He was shadowing to make sure that Keen could get that turret. It was actually a very cute play. True Shot Barrage is not going to connect onto too much here as it sails towards the top side of the map, and the Rift Herald should be claimed here by Gen.G. We do have 10 seconds on this next dragon, but it's not soul point for anyone just yet as we've traded the first couple of Drakes. Does put it in a kind of awkward spot. See exactly how highly it's going to be prioritized on either side as the Rift Herald does go over to Gen.G, and T1 moves straight into this dragon pit. Now not wasting any time at all to make sure that they can grab the answering objective, and there it is, secured here by Ona.
I don't think they can defend this mid turret at all. They were rushing back towards it after taking the dragon down, but instead they're just going to send Doran to the sides and let this turret go. Just too much pressure here by Gen.G, especially with Canyon here. He's even going to get an additional charge. Gen.G were able to maximize value, knowing that a contest for T1 would have been an opportunity for an engage from Canyon. And Doran, because his bottom turret was already gone, he's going to get a big push here. I don't know how much damage he can actually get done to this turret itself. Keen opts not to TP, so he actually will get to wail on it a little bit here and take out 2 plates. So it is a significant cross map, but it is definitely not equivalent to what Jesse got. And that second dragon for T1 is a win, but it's not a massive one. And
ja, den Drake-Abgeben ist komisch, aber sie kriegen bitte Tod dafür.
Where Ruler could just farm up waves and otherwise just drop a bomb on any team fight that Canyon sets up and continue to control the map, similarly to how T1 did in the last game. And they should be in a pretty smooth position in this game because they just want to make sure Pays doesn't get to pop off. His 2 items came through quickly. At the second, not transformed here because of the lead he has, but he will have it soon. And then T1 can
das Game sollte sehr gewonnen sein.
Like they have a lot of
also der Right hat Minute 17 noch kein Road of Ages.
Ruler, though, has gone for the Blackfire Torch. I'm not a huge fan of this. I kind of like the bursty zigs with the Ludens.
Tough from
mit den 2 Level
that choice, but I do agree with you just in general.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
there's a lot of champions that are going to be
ich muss vielleicht, also mal gucken, vielleicht 16 Uhr
I mean, there's I guess, an argument for
kurz so 20 Minuten weg, kann sein. Kann sein, was abholen. Mal schauen. Das kommt drauf an, wer Zeit hat.
Chovy is 7 Rod of Ages or over 7, really.
Ja, außer so, okay, nein, wir spielen heute so.
Stacks ahead of Faker.
Das kann sein, am 16.
He's also like 90% kill contribution as well with 108 in this game, which is kind of insane with how scrappy this game was going in the early stages. Has moved to a 3,000 gold lead for Gen.G. And there's the Crystallize coming on down. Doran not exactly happy about facing off against this Anivia.
Oder Knight ist der beste Spieler der Welt. Es ist so krank, was ich hier auf meinem zweiten Screen schon wieder sehe, by the way, ne? Ey, der Typ ist so krank. Wirklich. Dieser Typ ist so krank. War schon Classic drin, nein.
You know, early game,
wow.
looking for a fight there.
Absurd, wie gut er ist.
This game state, you just have to be sad and walk away as that turret goes down, as it's more about the pressure it implies.
Das Caesar bekommt von Knight. Einfach auf Rice, was er gerade wieder mechanisch gemacht hat.
Oh, he sensed the play.
Yeah, the flash taunt was ready there, and he just was not going to opt into any of that shenaniganry.
Yep, I like it. It kind of looks silly, right? But it's so hard to react to it.
Nein, das gefällt mir für GENG.
It's respectful.
Yeah. You just have to like see the potential and get the heck out of there. And if you are the Seraphine, it can be very dangerous. It's now Duro just going to be able to get himself out. It is going to be the flash over from Ona, who does find the win becomes lightning onto Chovy. True shot barrage connects as well. And there's the Rune Prison taken.
Gewinnt GENG den Fight nicht einfach.
Fantastic. They take out the egg, but at what cost does Ona and
Doro
fall in the pit? Keen is going to break his arm guard. That might actually keep him alive as Ruler is controlling space in this river.
1 for 2, yeah.
Faker is basically healing people with his items right now. He's not really able to do a whole lot there. He was set up. He was right in the place where he needed to be. He's healthy enough to offer some damage, but the damage just doesn't hurt. Keen just kind of ignores him there. And so initial play there from Owner was quite aggressive. It looked like the T1 numbers advantage was there. But
Plus Flash bekommen von Rice.
With the wall. And so watch this again. Duro gets over the wall. Owner wants to flash here, but then finds himself on the wrong side of this wall. Is getting slowed by Chovy, who's out of mana. And because Chovy has his passive here, GENG could just kind of regroup and then look for the turn here. As the Seraphine ultimate is decent, catches Keen, but he just doesn't really take that much damage from the carries here. Also gets to go golden to avoid some of the damage from Paige, who's pushing on to Ruler. And the target selection is kind of all over the place.
Hat Keen fertige Sonja im Base jetzt?
T1.
Yeah, just got a little bit split up towards the end there. Not a whole lot of safe spaces to do battle. But killing Chovy, definitely a big deal. He had a gigantic lead, as we were just explaining before. But he kind of continues to do so. Yeah,
it's a little smaller, but
it's also going to be more difficult to kill him now. I mean, I know he doesn't have the egg at this point in time, but the Seraphs is now done. He's building towards his Chovy cannon.
Yeah, Faker's next item in soon was a mana crystal, so that doesn't.
Nein, geht Rubik. Nein, geht Rocket Belts. Chovy geht Rocket Crystal. Nein, Rocket Belts.
Also, there's a gigantic lead in the jungle as well.
Wenn Mercs nicht banken damit, ich glaube, das Problem ist gegen einen, wir mussten fast gezwungenermaßen Swifties gehen.
He's representing a lot of shutdown gold. If T1 can ever actually get a kill onto the Vi, who will be in a dangerous
Und Swifty Value allgemein hier im Game ist gut. Das Problem ist eher, dass sie den dritten Drake abgegeben haben. Das ist mein größeres Problem hier.
Kind of a favorable game state in this moment here for T1 because they're letting GENG have the Dragon. Faker's getting money. I mean, he needs it desperately. They just need to stall this game out. That's really their best bet here. And so Canny gets Dragon, but they're not opting in for a fight. They're not going to give GENG the team fight they want right now while GENG are giga ahead. And so Faker gets some extra time in a side, takes 200 of the gold lead away from Chovy.
There you go.
I mean, I'm really reaching for silver linings here, but I think T1 played the situation correctly. I think that was the best they could have done with GENG with having that much control. The fact that Faker was able to push that far up and get those waves in itself is, I think, as big of a win as you could hope for right now.
Well, I do want to take a brief moment
to
say that Owner and Carrier's skins looks really, really cool.
Sure, yeah.
Haven't seen that Seraphine skin.
Glaubst du, Ryder ist es just? Nein.
And Owner with his cape looking absolutely phenomenal.
That's another silver lining here.
Yeah.
As they look stylish in this moment.
One of the negatives is we could have had, 6 T1 skins in the game.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a Jax one. There's definitely a Ryze one. Faker is definitely not going to be using it. Does Ezreal have one? I don't think so, but there is definitely a Varus one and a Vi one. But now
gibt's
we've
einen
also
T1
got a
Ryze.
very dead Owner as GENG utilizing Duro's ability to get.
Wenn ja, habe ich ihn nicht vor meinen Augen.
Effectively here, but the delivery.
Ja, okay.
Duro in position. The Encore goes completely wide, but Duro is going to be taken down, left on his lonesome. And Chovy, it's a great stun onto Doran to avoid that counter strike. And now he's just kiting them around. Another stun comes in. Pays will find him though. The arcane shift forward. It's a decent dodge, but it is not enough. And Pays is going to be able to get his revenge. A second death here for the Anivia.
Yeah, that was a really nice punish by T1. And GENG with the Varus in the bottom lane with no TP, just weren't able to support where they were positioned on the map there on the top lane. And T1 do get a nice punish here. Some money, again, over to these carries. The Faker not picking up any of the kills.
Ja, kein Base. China nach Botlane und was die Pida, ja.
He kind of baits Canyon in here. And this play is pretty disrespectful, right? The
Ja, Saki nicht, ne?
But now there's enough time bought here for T1 to come over. The Realm Warp allows the chase. Even though the Seraphine ultimate leaves a little bit to be desired here, allows Canyon to get away, it's still going to be a huge...
AP war Sonja, also das von Dawn ist super, plus Sonja halt sehr gut im Game hier.
Repeatedly putting his ultimate down, gets
Plus
the
Hexback
stun
genervt
here
auf
on
Range.
Doran's approach, but Pays is just going to keep E-ing forward. Will take Chovy out, even true shots, because he is... he knows Chovy is really, really ahead. And maybe didn't even trust his own damage there.
All right, cease and desist does come down here. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to push back the Jax, and he just blows up. Chovy able to grab himself an assist, which I wasn't actually assuming was going to happen. Very nicely done.
Not too impactful here. Duro is going to be able to get away just fine. Doesn't need to flash.
T1's bottom side are doing really well, Wolf.
Yes.
Having a look at this game, it's very lopsided. As the three members of GENG on the top side feeling fantastic and asking what the hell happened on the bottom side of the map.
Well, it goes back to the very early game, right, where we were like, okay, Doran's deficit means less.
Das ist ein Game, mit dem T1 Random Nash startet.
Full sacrifice.
Yeah, the rest of the game.
Und das quasi der Win-Condition ist hier in dem Game jetzt.
Got a quadra kill.
In meinem Kopf.
The lead is way bigger for Keen than it was when we were having that conversation earlier. But the same sort of top versus bottom rules do apply here with the 4 kills that Pays has picked up in total, the control of the lane he had early. Which one is going to matter more is the question. I think you could make an argument that the Jax is still very relevant 2,000 gold down because he could, he could look for a leap into a flash, into a prio target. But Chovy has his passive, right? Like, it's very difficult to burst him down. The Vi is good for Peel. It's hard for Jax to actually close the gap here. And one of the biggest problems, we're talking about top versus bottom, is you forget to talk about mid. It's not about Chovy's lead as much as it's about Faker's deficit. He is just not able to do damage, and he won't be doing damage for so long in this game.
He's just a full Chovy cannon behind.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane.
Like, it's crazy how little Rise does when you're this far behind in a game like this. Like, he needs just so much time, which is why we just keep watching him clearing waves, because that's all he can do, and he needs to be doing that only. And basically, all of T1 just needs to deny objectives while Faker gets money. Getting a proactive catch there, when Canyon overextended earlier, is a bonus. Definitely feels nice, but it's tougher to pull off.
Well, Megacone is going to be saving Doran here for the moment, as the rest of T1 are going to be pushing through towards the top side. They know that Canyon isn't there. It's a lot of damage represented as he just vault breaks to get out of the way of T1. Setting up these brushes, though, is a really great way to punish, especially when they're waiting for this Drake to spawn. It is going to come up now. Keen is in the area, doesn't have his teleport up and available. Doran back again once more, but has to move towards the mid lane.
Ja, Keen kann easy Drake solo ins Problem ist nur das Camtech Drake, das heißt, er wäre dann halt Half-HP Minimum. Das ist das einzige Problem daran.
They're actually looking towards the Baron instead right now.
All right, they have cleared this vision up. And we're looking at
Erneut Win-Condition für T1 ist hier Random Nash bekommen. GENG macht aber einen sehr guten Job dagegen. Also, ja, wir sind sehr am Chillen. Wir sind sehr, sehr, sehr am Chillen.
Kind of have to scramble to look for any way to check this Baron and to be able to constantly make sure they have vision on where GENG are. Right now, they know they're on the bottom side of the map. They know they're on that dragon. The fact that Doran has TP is really valuable here because he can continue to be on the opposite side of the map of that objective.
Vielleicht lieber einfach ein sehr gutes Item auf Vi. Ist jetzt, also wie viel er shreddet für die anderen, ist jetzt nicht so gut natürlich. Aber das Item ist einfach sehr gut.
As T1 are also going to get this scuttle, which is actually pretty huge to be able to get way more information. So can slow this game down a little bit. Rod's about to complete. I know it's a late one here for Faker, and he's still going to be very far behind in experience, but it pushes him much closer to 16. He's not that far away.
Yeah,
hitting that critical.
Ich wünsche mir, dass GENG jetzt bald Nash startet, ehrlicherweise.
Schauen,
also starten und schauen, wie T1 reagiert. Ich glaube, das ist jetzt langsam der richtige Zeitpunkt.
The game feels amazing if you're not if the game isn't done so if you're transforming at 28 minutes, but he is just a few minion waves away from actually hitting that spike. In terms of getting the actualizer and the big damage, we're still a little bit further away, but if they can deny Baron until he gets it, Pays is on 3 items now. Doran still able to GENG around the map a little bit. There's still a way back in here, absolutely, for T1. But GENG, the ball is in their court right now. They have full control over the map, but they're the ones who are going to make the decisions here as T1 scramble to try to get that 3rd item for Faker.
Yeah, and speaking of 3rd items, both Keen and Ruler just completed their Void Staves. feeling very good about the state of the game right now with their extra magic resist they've built for themselves. T1, not with really a true tank to be seen in this composition. And Doran, if he wants to build a pseudo-tanky...
Erneut, ich hätte wirklich sehr gerne bei den Nashshot.
So that is not representing very much more.
Einfach nur zu schauen, wie sie reagieren. Also...
Ich
glaube, nicht scaling-technisch haben die jetzt kein Problem, right? Das heißt, jetzt hier das Game runter zu verlangsamen ist fein, aber ja. Problem ist halt, Pace kriegt sehr viele Items.
Yeah. I do think that the way they've set up these lanes, where they're putting Doran bottom side here, is definitely the correct way to do it for T1. Faker doesn't have TP, he needs to be near the Baron. And he is just getting wave after wave. They have a lot of vision to support him because they're playing all through topside. So he has, unlike the time where he got caught last game, so many resources towards his side of the map where the Baron is so that he can continue to farm. And T1 are in a deficit, but they're doing everything right to get a potential comeback window in this game.
Yeah, GENG are doing a great job just trying to play around what T1 are doing here. I think that this tug of war is really beautifully done. Because GENG
extra Seekers bei Chovy jetzt und bei Doran.
But neither team really giving much of an inch.
Trap into Nashstart bitte, wird Zeit. Oder direkt Nashstart, gut. Ja. Vielleicht eine Minute zu spät, aber passt.
As it is spotted, this Baron pretty dangerous. This True Shot Barrage over the top as well is going to land onto two. Ruler and Keen taking a lot of damage here. They do need to be careful. Look at that wall plus the glacial storm.
Nee, horrible Position.
Stun. Still, T1 are going to be able to walk over it. Duro taking a lot of damage. And there is the encore flash. But Canyon able to get himself out of the way. They get themselves.
Doran in the backline.
Going to go down to the GA so early.
Yeah.
And in goes Chovy trying to be in the
oh my God.
to make something happen. Canyon should get taken down here. It's Pays that gets the shutdown. Keen goes gold and Owner is over the glacial storm and out of trouble as it's a double for Pays. At full health, he's going to pick up the third one as well. And Ruler not going to be able to do anything about this other than kill Carrier from half health.
And let's see if he can get out of this one. I don't think so. Nice try with the satchel, but Doran is just going to slap him on the back of the head. And down he goes, and now it's T1's Baron. T1 incredibly patient in this game. And GENG, for the first time in a long time, finally got all the vision cleared on Baron. They were like, okay, now it's a good time to do Baron.
Viel zu spät vom Nash runter, oder nicht?
Massive damage, and they
viel zu spät vom Nash runter.
early, but without actually offering anything except a wall and an attempted Q from Ruler. So yes, the Baron's not stealable here, but they're not under threat, so T1 can play it slow. Carrier's flash engage here is pretty good, and with Owner's Crescent Guard, engage on him is not the
Problem ist, dass sie halt auf Owner drauf ult mit dabei und dann im Backline der Jax kommt, right? Und sie reagieren ganz gut auf den Jax, aber ja.
But he still makes a big impact in this fight, and now it's so split up here for GENG that Pays, there's just no one to lock him down. He could free fire in this one. Chovy will lose his passive and his life. And Ruler in the extended play, despite getting Carrier, will also die. And this comeback here from T1 was so well orchestrated. How they set up their lanes, the Baron vision, how they played through Faker and sides, was all accumulating for one hopeful team fight, one hopeful moment. They got it. They've got a gold lead now in this game, and maybe they could still get the 2-0 here despite playing against the GENG home crowd.
And also, despite GENG having such a massive lead for so long, Duro takes a lot of damage from another one of these True Shot barrages. And we're seeing the power of this Ezreal that has been a big problem all week long. Canyon looks for the angle towards Bezo.
That's fucking lost.
Can they kill him? That's the question. And the answer, ladies and gentlemen,
is
lost. No, not yet. As down goes Canyon first.
Boah, also Decision Making wieder schwierig, no joke. Game is over actually. Wow. Wow, das ist enttäuschend.
They're just gonna push this bottom lane where everybody's here. They've got the wave, they've got Baron, and
mies enttäuschend.
Could not hold on to the lead. They had such an advantage. Keen got a quadra kill in the early game.
Mies enttäuschend.
2,500 gold behind, but it just doesn't matter. They bide their time. They play a slow control game, and on the Baron, the objective that matters, they get the win. They get another win on the bottom side. Push to end. As Payne protected by Carrion in that moment, has the peel.
Diese ganze Nash-Sequence war so
Canyons engaged. They're too far away.